Hello everybody. Just give me a moment to see if everything is set and if we are good to go. And it seems like it. If the audio is too quiet, I can't really do much about it right now, but I'll try to fix it for the next week. Hopefully this is loud enough for you to hear. Okay, it seems everything's okay, so I'll just go into the stream. Let's see. Okay, so we are back where we left off last time. We've created the cherries and stuff. It would be nice to take care of our hierarchy over here to the left, because right now there is pretty much a mess. So we can create some empty objects and just name them like cherries, and we can then drag all the cherries into this game object so we can hide them. Same goes with like spikes, trees and stuff. So spikes, and every spike there is, we can just give it over here and close it down. Same goes with trees. Trees over here. Also grass. Same thing. And we can just name environment. So we can put actually let's just put all these even trees inside the environment. Okay, so now we have much more simple hierarchy over here. Hey, hello. Okay, so another thing we could do is create prefabs out of these. If you wanted to have every single tree the same height and basically the same scale, we can just create prefabs out of them, just dragging the tree over here. But yeah, let's do that. So then we can just drag them out and have them in the same order in the layer. Like this. If you want, there is no actual limitation because yes, if we make a change to this tree in particular, then nothing will change to other prefabs unless we hit apply over here. If we do, then every single prefab tree will have the same change applied. So look, see, this tree changed the size as well. So we can just Ctrl Z to go back and have them a prefab, but like that. Okay, so today our topic is graphical user interface, which is basically what the player will see on the screen. And Unity provides us with some nice UI options. So if we go into the hierarchy, hit right click, go into UI, and create a canvas over here. This canvas is basically, it's like very big, so you just have to scroll back or just double click canvas. So this is basically your entire screen. So if we put, let's just hit right click onto the canvas, go UI and add text. Then if we add some text over here, so let's just say sample text, then we will be able to see in the game tab on the right this particular text. As you can see, sample text is on the right. So we can use this to display how many cherries our player has gotten at the current time. So let's just create also a panel. So go into right-click UI and go to panel, which right now covers the entire screen. We want it a bit smaller, maybe like that. Just drag it somewhere. Let's have it here maybe. And then we can add the text on the panel over here, just so you can collapse it if you want to, and just move it over here. I want to align it in a particular way, so like have this part of the panel. Then we can use the text script over to the right and change the text, so cherries, and just display 0 for now. We will change this via script, and just for now type 0 because player will always start with 0 cherries. And then we can change the font, the style. I actually want to change the style into bold. Change the font size to maybe 16, and then we can also align it to the middle and both horizontally and vertically. There's also a nice option over here, which is best fit, which basically allows us to match the smallest and the biggest size of the text to this particular size of the text object. So if we do something like this, it will always shrink to fit the entire box. There's also the overflowing options, so we can just type overflow and it will change accordingly so it has the biggest size possible. I want to type just wrap and truncate both. Okay, also change the font color over here. I want them to be I would say let's go with green maybe, like this darker green over here. And also we can add an image, so go to panel, right click UI and go to raw image, then just resize it like this, move it over here, and we can use the where is it? It's in Sunderland, artwork, environment, oh sorry, artwork sprites, go into items, cherry, and just the basic one. We can apply it into the raw image. Oh, my bad. Just open the raw image. Come on, okay, like this, and drag the cherry into the texture over here. So we can see right now, if we go to the game tab, we can see the cherries over here. It would be also nice to change the opacity of the panel. So if you go to the panel, go under color, we can see the alpha is like over here, and we want to drag it to the right so it's not as transparent as it was. It's a bit better. I just want to move this text over here, and this is perfect. Okay, so right now if we go to play, we can see this is not really changing, but we can see it's always here. It's stuck to our screen. Okay, so now let's create a script which will actually handle displaying how many cherries our player has at the current time. For that, let's create a new game object, an empty game object. We can name it game manager, and drag the script which is on the player right now. So this point script, we want to delete it from here. So remove component, and add the points script into the game manager. And now if we go to the script, let's set two things. We need to add a new library called using Unity engine.ui, and we need to set a new text object. So public text cherries, and now we need to update the cherries text with the amount of points we have currently. So we go and type void update, and we want to always set our cherries. And now our text class is this whole component which is over here. So we need to access the text of it. So we have to type cherries.text, and then I'll assign a string to it. So equals cherries double dot spacebar plus points. And that's basically it. We can save it, go into Unity, and let's see. Yeah, I haven't set the text over here. So we go to Game Manager and drag the text from underneath the panel onto the cherries over here. And let's see. It updates over here. We can see we have 3 cherries right now. So this is how you can add scripts and UI components. For now we will just use this one, and one thing I want to change from the last time we did is right now our cherries are a collider, are colliders. So basically if our character jumps into them, he stops for a second because he collides with them. I want to get rid of that and apply to the prefab of the cherry to be a trigger. Basically what this means, if it's a trigger, we will not collide with it, but we will detect that our player has collided with a trigger. So it won't stutter our player's movement, it will just register that we had a collision with a trigger. That's all of it. So if we change it over here, just check the isTrigger box and apply, then all of our cherries will be triggers from now on. And we have to also change it into in our script in the movement. So right now we have it under the on collision enter. We want to have a function called void on trigger enter 2D, and instead of collision 2D we want it to be a collider 2D. Cool, we can name it the same way, and just drag the script from here, just cut it out and paste it over here. So right now if we hit a cherry, we won't stop, we will just take it, pick it up, and not even stutter for a second. As you can see, everything works just fine. We just got rid of the stutter, which sometimes could happen because of the update latency. Okay, that's perfect. Let's see. Okay, so next thing, let's create a new scene. First of all, let's create. Okay, let's add a gem. So currently we have only cherries, and we also want to have. Let's just go to animations, add a new folder, gem. Go into gem, and we want to create a new animation for our gem in the Sunnyland asset. So as usual, we just click all of them and change the pixels per unit to 16, apply, and try to drag them into the game. Let's just get closer to the scene. and just drag them all out so we can create an animation. And from here, let's just go back to assets, animations, and gem, and create idle. Okay, so right now, if we hit play, we can see the gem will be having the animation set right now. Okay, that's good. And we want this gem to have, basically we want it to work in a very similar way to a cherry, but instead we will have only one gem per level, and getting a gem will mean you move to the next level. So we want to create a tag for the gem as we had for a cherry and for the enemy. So just go over here, create a new tag, gem, go into the gem, name it just gem, change the tag, and do the same thing. We want it to have a box collider 2D, and check the is trigger. Okay, and also we can just move it. Let's just move it over here. We want to also change the order in layer. Let's just set it to like 30, so it's always on top. Okay, and let's go back to the script, movement script, and on trigger enter, we want to type if the collider.gameObject.tag is gem, then we want to change the scene to the next level. So let's just, for now, just comment out next scene, just so we remember to do it. Now we have this simple level. We have all these 3 cherries and the gem at the end, which will take us to the next level. But first we need to create a new level, because for now this is the only scene we have. Okay, so let's create a new scene. Let's go to scenes over here. This is our sample scene, which is the first level, so we can just name it 01 and create a new scene. Just find it, scene over here. Just name it 02. Okay, and let's just drag it over here, and we can see the duplicates of the main camera, and basically there's nothing else which is duplicated from here to here. We want to take the player. We also want to take the game manager, the camera, and the canvas. Copy and paste it to the second one, and let's see if we unload the scene if everything works. Because in theory this should work already, but let's see if it's going to actually. Yeah, okay. Okay, so everything works besides the camera following the player. It is because our camera, because this is our new camera, and this one doesn't have the script on it over here. So we have to, oh, my bad, we had it. We just have to remove the main camera, which is created by default, and just have this camera as our main camera. Okay, and as you can see, we can move around and have the second level already. Just as simple. Okay, so how to actually move from the first level to the second level? This is something we have to do via script, so we can unload the second scene for now. We need to go to File, Build Settings, and as you can see, we have currently only the first scene in build. We need to drag and drop, or actually, can we open? Yeah, we can also click on Add Open Scenes, or you can just drag a scene over to here, and then we can see 2 scenes over here. On the right, there is the index of the first one, and on the second one, so it's 0 and 1. We can close it now. And at the same way that we had for restarting whenever our player would die to respawn it, we have to do the same thing with the gem. So we need to add a scene manager, which is over here already. Perfect. So we just go to scene manager dot load scene. But now the thing is, we want to change the scene from the current one to the next one. So we have to somehow get to what level are we currently on, and it is in scene manager dot scene loaded. Wait, where is it? Scene dot build index. Okay, so we have to get the active scene and then see the index of this scene and add 1 to it, because if we just didn't add the 1, we would just load the same level over and over. And also another thing is we just have to do something with our points so it makes some sense, because currently we just add these cherries on top of each other. We save them through levels, but then they don't really matter in the end, and it would be nice to have a way to save them between levels. And if the player gets hurt on the second level, not to drop all the cherries he gathered from the first one. So like save the ones from previous levels to the next level. So let's just have an int over here. So public static int previous points, and we whenever we change the level, so in the gem over here, we would like to update it. So just type previous points dot previous points equals points dot points. Okay, and then we want points dot points to be 0. So this is the current points for the current level, and this is the points we have gathered in total. Okay, so currently we're only displaying on the screen the current points, and we can actually just have these hidden, so we can just display them at the end of the game. So whenever there is not another level over here, or just have the last level just a display screen, which will show us the amount of gems we have gathered. Let's see. Okay, so 1 cherry, 2 cherries, 3 cherries, and I'm trying to pick up the gem, and we got to the next level. And currently we have 0 cherries over here. I just want to display them as well, so debug.log previously just add plus previous points, so points dot previous points, and let's see if it will actually save them through the levels as it should. The spikes disappeared, the texture of them. Let's see what happened over here. Oh, the order and layer is not changed. Okay. So 1 cherry, 2 cherries, 3 cherries, and let's see if it's going to give us 3. Yep, perfect. So we have 3 cherries over here, saved through levels, and there is currently 0 cherries on top of the player. Good. Okay, so let's see what next. Let's create some. Yeah, let's actually let's do some level design, because currently we have been adding stuff to the game, and we haven't really added too much of the game itself. So let's create a level. Let's create some more platforms, create some spikes, create some environment. Oh yes, one thing I forgot. We need to check if the player hasn't fallen, because if he falls off the platform currently, he's just going to fall endlessly, and just he has to force quit the game. That is not really what we want to do. So let's go to movement, and let's set a max height, public float max fall distance. So we will set like on which point on the y-axis the player has to reset. So like whenever he falls beneath -4, for example, the game is just going to restart. The current scene is going to restart. And as well, we need to have this little thing changed, because we don't really want to have the whole game respawn every time. So we can just copy from here. So just load the scene, but not the next one, but the current one. So just have it build index without the +1 over here. Okay, so respawn, and also go to update, and let's see if game object dot just transform dot position dot y is less than -4. Sorry, not -4, but max fall distance. Then we want it to respawn. So notice how I haven't used the curly brackets, because if after an if statement there's only one line that has to play, then you don't really have to use the brackets, because it will only do the first line. So let's go to Unity, change the height over here, so max fall distance is a -4, and let's see, just take this, and go to the next level. So it probably won't work right now, because we don't have the player as a prefab, but just as an object, and it won't work now. Oh, actually it did. Okay, that's good. Oh, right, because we did it in the movement script. We just have to change it to -4 over here. Okay, good. Then let's create prefabs out of every single thing we need to move between scenes. So the camera has to be a prefab with the background behind it. We have to have the player as a prefab as well. We need a game manager as a prefab. Though we actually can only, let's see, because we maybe don't really have to have it like that. Because there is a function, but I haven't really checked if it doesn't work, but it just popped into my mind right now. Let's just see if it's going to break if. Okay, actually, let's not get mixed up. Let's just create the prefabs. So we have to have a player over here. We need to have the game manager as a prefab. We need our camera as a prefab. We don't really use the light anymore, and the canvas as well. Yep. And the event system as well, which is used by let's just do it like that. So just drag the event system onto the canvas, so we can actually take it along with the canvas, because the event system is basically used whenever we have any sort of interactable UI objects like buttons and stuff. So yeah, so it just creates automatically with UI objects. Okay, so let's remove these from here, all these, and then drag the prefabs, so the player, the camera, the game manager, and the canvas. Unload the first scene, save it, and let's see if this will. Again, the camera is flaky because we have to set the target over here, the player. Let's see if the canvas is set perfectly. We have to set the cherries over here, so just drag the text onto the cherries over here, and we can apply. And most of the stuff should be set. So if we fall down, we just reset. We get a lot of bugs over here, but it was from the last run. This time should be okay. Okay, so let's load the first level again. Unload. We have to do some playtesting over here. So we take the first cherry, take the second cherry, the third one, go to the next level. We had 3 of them, now we have 0, which is good. We fall down and we just respawn. Perfect. That's good. Can we add the cherry just to see? Let's also add a third scene, which will be empty basically, but just for testing. So where is it? Scenes. Just copy. Can we just duplicate? Yeah, we can just duplicate it. There will be a third one as well. Just unload it, unless we have to set some stuff. Go to the camera. Oh, it's fine. Okay, so we can just unload it. Go to the second scene and add a gem, so we can go to the third level as well. So prefabs. No, a gem isn't a prefab yet, but we have to make it a prefab. Let's go to prefabs again. Add the gem over here. Close the first one. Unload the scene. Add a gem. Also add a cherry. And then we'll see. Go to the first one, allow the second one, and let's see. Okay, so let's take 1, 2, 3 cherries, go to the next level, have the console open for testing, take the cherry. So we have currently 1, we had 3 before, we go to the next level, and we have previously 1, because, yes, okay, so this is because we are creating a new static every time, and we actually have to do the thing I was thinking about. Okay, so let's just go back, and the points system over here has to be set a bit differently. So let's see. Okay, so let's take out this update and cherries to a new script. So go to scripts. Okay, we don't have a folder for this. Add a new script, which will be GUI. Open it up. Reload if it wants to. Take these two stuff out of here. We can also delete this line over here on top. And just drag it over here. Add the library, so using Unity Engine.ui. Add points.points instead of just points. Yep, this should be okay. And now we can also allow this function over here to not. There is a thing called there is a function called don't destroy unload. So we have to type void start, and in the start function, this dot don't destroy. Oh, sorry, game object dot don't destroy. 1 second, I have to check in which class it was. Object dot don't destroy unload. So object dot don't destroy unload. here, and we also want to add this. Okay, so now this will be indestructible. So whenever we move from the first to the second scene, we can also delete this game manager over here and here. Save them up, unload these two. So for now we won't have the function because this, actually let's just do it right now. So we can go to the panel. Okay, so let's just add the GUI script into the panel. Okay, and get the text over here and just hit apply. Hopefully it's gonna set up in every single scene. Yeah, it does. Okay, perfect. That's good. So unload this one, have it just like that. So the GUI script is on the panel. Underneath there is the text. And then we have the game manager only here, which holds the points. And let's see if it's going to work. Because right now we will have another open scene, which is called Don't Destroy and Load over here, which holds our game manager. And right now it shouldn't remove the cherries that we had gathered right now. Let's see. Okay, there's still one. If we move it like that, so previous points equals points. This makes sense. Then we set the points to 0. And if we add a second scene, then the points should work. Oh, right, my bad. We had to add them, not set an equal. Oh, that's a big mistake. So we want to add the current points into the points we had before, instead of just changing them into the current points. Well, at least we learned another function, the Don't Destroy Unload one, because it probably would have worked the way we did it before. I just haven't seen this little mistake, and currently it should work just fine. So 3, now we have another one, so we had 3, we have 1, there should be 4 right now. And just as expected, there's 4 right now. Good. So this way we can also set up an end game screen, which will show all the cherries we have gathered along the way. Because as we have said, the cherries aren't mandatory to win the game. We just have to get a gem to move to the next level. And basically the goal is to win the level, having as many cherries as you could have gathered along the way. So you can also create some kind of secret hidden cherries and stuff. Okay, yes, you can play around and add some more to these scenes, the second and third scene. I'm going to do some level design, just adding some platforms, adding some environment, adding some cherries, gems, etc., etc. And in the next one, we will create the main level. Sorry, the menu at the beginning of the game, the end screen, which I've been talking about, and also, and hopefully if we have enough time, or if not, then in the next episode we'll add some enemies that will move around and try to hit us, making the game a bit harder. Okay, so these are the goals for the next webinars, and I hope you've enjoyed this one, even though we have been making some little mistakes. But you know, debugging is also a big thing that a programmer has to do. So it's important to know how to find bugs and stuff like that. Okay then, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, I'll be here for the next couple minutes, and feel free to ask about anything. Goodbye, see you next time.